Here we are at the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya for the start of today's qualifying session. It won't be long now until we're ready to join the action down at trackside. Spain is one of those tracks that can create unexpected results, so it's very difficult to know who might be strong here in today's qualifying.
If you can put together an efficient package with a good compromise between downforce and straight line speed, you can catch the other teams out here, just like Pastor Maldonado did back in 2012. Ferrari have a good track record at this circuit, but my money is on Mercedes to have a strong qualifying session here today.
Hello guys and welcome to F1 2015 Raikkonen career mode with me, Elliott Splash, and we are at part 5, which is the Spanish Grand Prix, as we are looking at our setup. Somebody requested for us to show our qualifying sessions, so here we are showing our qualifying sessions, and I'll show you my settings for this qualifying session as well. So we've got quite a standard setup until you get to the tyre pressure and the suspension. It's 44 degrees on track at the moment, so we're going to drop the tyre pressure to 17.6 psi, and that will hopefully stop overheating issues with the tyres. Now I'm not sure in this game if the AI do all run with standard setups. That is something to be, I'm not too sure yet if that's what happens, but if so, they're going to struggle with overheating issues, so this will give us our best chance at qualifying in pole position, hopefully. So here we are on the first flying lap of the race. We're just getting ready to start qualifying as we go through the gears in this third sector before we start our flying lap. So this is where I'm going to struggle here, as you can see, slightly cutting the corner there, but it doesn't really matter because we're not on a flying lap yet, and we're going to just open up the revs and go straight down this DRS straight, and here we are starting our lap. So we're going to come down to the first braking zone on turn 1, which is a very heavy braking zone, going down to the gear of 3. Now sometimes I do take it in 4th, but I think 3 you get more traction out of it. This corner here you cannot take it at 100% throttle, you have to leave it around about 80 to 90%, otherwise you're going to run extremely wide. Now as we come to the end of the first sector, it's a 22.813, so that's quite decent. It says it's a purple sector, but it actually isn't, because we are the first people out on track at the moment. Almost run wide into the gravel trap on that corner as well, as we come to this tricky corner here, which I can never get quite right, as we have a little bit of oversteer, but nothing too much serious. So now we come into the second DRS straight, open up the flaps, and now we can come down to the second really heavy braking zone, and we run extremely wide, missing the apex by an absolute mile, but I don't think we've lost too much time. So we come into the third sector now, and we just get into this little technical zone where you flick the car right, here we are, and then open up the taps a little bit, then flick it to the left, flick it to the right once more, and then you just try and open up the revs as much as possible, slamming on the accelerator and just hoping to not get too much oversteer, as we set a 124.746 as we back off now, because that was our only flying lap of the session, and you will see why.
It's Kimi Raikkonen on pole for tomorrow's race, after a fantastic lap time that has cemented his place in the top spot.
Well, he's got to be pleased with that. He's worked hard for it and deserves the result. He'll now turn his sights to tomorrow for what should be a very exciting race.
So there we have it, first place pole position with a 124.746, 9/10 in front of Nico Rosberg and 1.1 seconds in front of Lewis Hamilton. I believe they were all struggling with tyre issues from overheating. They couldn't put the power down because of the overheating issues. Not sure if they run the standard setup or they run different setups, I'm not too sure.
Welcome to the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya, a circuit that's seen some exciting racing throughout the years. Let's hope today's race will provide us with another chapter of drama. The Iceman, Kimi Raikkonen, took pole from under the noses of all his rivals in yesterday's storming qualifying. He'll now want to get the jump on them today, as all eyes look towards the red Ferrari sat at the front of the grid.
There are a lot of variables that can cause a driver to be happy with the car one day to struggling with it the next. Track temperature, excessive tyre wear, or a change of fuel load can all affect the feel of a car. He'll definitely be hoping that when the race gets underway, he's got the same balance as he enjoyed in qualifying.
Already a multiple winner of the Spanish Grand Prix, Fernando Alonso will once again be carrying the hopes of an expectant nation as he looks to add yet another win to his tally today.
Fernando has a great record at this circuit. He never wants to disappoint his fans, and this is a race where you're guaranteed to see him at his very best. I'm sure he'll be pushing every lap, no matter what position he's in, right up until the checkered flag.
Somehow I don't think that Fernando Alonso is going to be doing any well at this race. He's like a 9th row of the grid. I don't think he's going to come up with something random like a race win. Now, for some reason, I have actually figured this out. It's telling us to stop at lap 1 to 2. Now, what happened was I let my friend play on F1 2015 to see what it was like. And he did 9 laps of my career mode and then restarted. That's what's the trouble is. So as we wait for the 5 lights to go out and lights out, away we go. I'll speak more about the issue and tell you more about this little glitch after we get to the first corner. So Hamilton and Rosberg have jumped us. So now we're going to try and go around the outside of Hamilton and get just behind Rosberg, who's going to pull away slightly because he's got a better exit through the first corner. Now we're going to try and keep just behind him for this first part of the race and hopefully overtake him soon. So as we skip to the end of lap 1, Rosberg is around about 2 seconds in front. He's just absolutely storming away as we come into the pits, and while we're coming into the pits I will tell you more about this glitch. Basically what happens if you ever restart a race, I did a little experiment about this actually on this race. My friend did around about 7 to 8 laps on my career mode and he did absolutely terrible because he's never played a Formula 1 game before. I think he dropped from 1st till about 18th. What happens is if you restart the race, the tyre wear from the previous time that you played gets carried on. So if you did 7 to 8 laps then restarted the race, basically what happens is that tyre wear carries on. So okay, it says we're lap 1 to 2, so we're going to try and get past this back marker of Merry, who's blocking us up absolutely like a treat as we go down his inside, coming to the last sector, the last few corners of the 4th lap, and we are now up to 19th. So we started in 1st and we're now in 19th. As lap 5 we skip to Will Stevens as we lose the back end coming through there, just trying to jump the gun and trying to overtake him as soon as possible, getting in the same place that we got Roberto Merry as he touches our rear. I think he touched our rear tyres there and that made us have a little bit of a spin, but not too much. Now we skip to lap 7 where we've got Jenson Button just in front of us, and now we've got the DRS and hopefully should be able to catch up to him as we try and overtake him into the first corner. Looks like we've got that move done. Oh, don't hit Alonso. Oh, we just about to get the car slowed down before we hit Fernando Alonso as we try and go round the outside of Fernando Alonso because we have better traction. But no, not quite, because he's on the option tyre, so we're going to try and go on the curbs around him. He brakes extremely early. He knows that I want to get past him as soon as possible. So we are now up to 16th place behind a huge train of cars. Now we're right behind Verstappen, who's had a terrible race so far, who's all the way down in 15th place. Not a good start for him, almost as bad as we have had. But we're going to try and get him in the next DRS straight, maybe sooner, not quite. We didn't have a good enough exit through that corner. So you can see the amount of downforce advantage we have to the Toro Rosso. Are we going to get the move done before this corner? Yes, it looks like. Ooh, we almost went into Grosjean there. A little bit of a corner cut, but that was just to stop us going straight into Grosjean. And now we're going to try and go around the outside. Yes, maybe we'll get the move done around the outside here. I'm not too sure. Looks like we do. Almost putting a tyre in the gravel there. So we're now up to 14th. This is an actual manic of a lap. There's just so much going on, and then you've got the rest of the cars coming into the pits now on lap 8. And where's that going to bring us out? Are we going to lose a few places? I think so, for having to pit so early. I think we are going to come out in first place, no doubt about it. But we jump our teammate Vettel and Valtteri Bottas, so we're now up to 5th place. And these cars in front may have to pit still. So we skip to lap 10, who we've just caught back of Kvyat, who's struggling a lot. I don't know if it's because of the Renault power engine or just because the Red Bull isn't up to spec this season. But we are right behind him now, and we should be able to get him before this DRS straight ends. So we're going to pick up the DRS and the slipstream. move to the inside line, brake, and that's quite a simple move there. Is he going to come back at us? No, it doesn't look like it. So we're now up to 4th place behind Daniel Ricciardo. So let's see if these cars now decide to come into the pits before we end lap 11. It has been an interesting race. This is probably one of my favourite races so far on this game. There have been so much action. Having to pit on lap 1, there was a lot of action between that, having to overtake all the back markers. It was quite easy but quite frustrating at the same time, as I believe Ricciardo and Hamilton were in the pits. I'm not too sure who's in front. Is it Raikkonen? I'm Raikkonen, you idiot. Rosberg, sorry. But we skipped to lap 12 now, and we are coming back into the pits. We've spent 11 laps on these tyres. They're starting to go off. So now we're going to put another set of prime tyres on, and hopefully get to around about lap 20, lap 22. Then put a set of option tyres on to the end of the race, and we should be in a good position then. Just as long as we can keep up with race pace at the moment. It's still around about 40 degrees on track temperature, so all the cars that have got the higher tyre pressures are struggling with tyre degradation, so that could play into our hands, even though we've had a dreadful start of the race with the glitch. Basically what happens is with that glitch is, if you keep on restarting the race, you do 1 lap, restart, 1 lap, restart, as we try and overtake Button, and that was quite a simple move. Now we're up to 8th place. What happens is, every single lap that you do, even if you restart the race, that lap adds on to your tyre wear issues. So if you play championship season, don't let a friend play it and mess up and you have to do it yourself for your recordings, because what happens is all that tyre wear comes back at you, so that is an issue. So now we are on lap 15. We've set the fastest lap of the race so far with a 1:26.727, and we're going to try and overtake Felipe Massa as we squeeze him, and then we brake very heavily, and we are now up to P6. So we're still going to score some decent points, I think. Maybe not win the race, but never say never, right? As we skip to lap 19, and we've caught up to the back of Daniel Ricciardo, who's in 3rd place, and now we're going to try and overtake him. He's going extremely slowly. Maybe tyre wear is starting to become an issue for him because he's on the option tyres as he darts into the pits. So I think we're actually going to gain DRS as well. Are we going to gain DRS? And it looks like another car, a few cars are in the pits as well. So yes, we've got DRS, and we've overtaken Rosberg, so we're now into P1. We are in 1st place at the moment. Even though having to pit on lap 1, we are still in 1st place. This is absolutely amazing. Can we grab a race win from having to pit on lap 1? That sounds quite stupid really, but it looks like we might do as we come into the pits. And I accidentally clicked the start button looking for a different button, because on my Logic at G27 I'm not used to the button assignments at the moment. So we come into the pits now to put a set of option tyres on that will take us 10 laps to the end of the race. And we are now down to 2nd, maybe 3rd place. It looks like Hamilton's going to overtake us. Yes. Who else? Vettel and Bottas are in front of us as well, because they're all going to be on prime tyres. So we should be able to have the pace to re-overtake all these cars. I mean, surely we've got 10 laps on a set of option tyres. We've got hardly any fuel left in the car. We should be able to go really fast as we stick it into the rich mix, and we should be able to overtake at least 3 of these cars and finish in the podium positions. But on lap 23, Vettel and Bottas have come into the pits, so we're now up to 3rd place, just behind Hamilton and Nico Rosberg. As we catch up to lap 24, we're right behind Lewis Hamilton. It looks like he's being held up by a Sauber as we set the fastest lap of the race, which is 1:25.9. So we're going to try and overtake Hamilton, who's overtaking the Sauber of Felipe Massa. And it looks like we're coming into a little bit of traffic as we have to brake so much there because Massa brake checked us. I don't know why they went so slowly there, but that was very, very close. Lap 25, we're right behind Hamilton, and we're going to try a cheeky little dive bomb. Yes, we are. We run a little bit wide, but it looks like we've got the place. So we're now up to 2nd. So lap 26, looks like we are right behind Sainz Jr., who's a back marker, but who's that in front of him? That's Maldonado. So where is Rosberg? Is he in front of these two cars here? So we're going to try and get past Saints. We should be able to with the DRS, but he's got DRS also, so this could be a little bit tricky, but we try and outbrake him, and we are now up to, well, we're still in second place, but we've overtaken that back marker. So now next up is Maldonado, and I believe that is Rosberg just in front of us there after Maldonado, and we get past him very easily, and now it's just a straight fight between me and Nico Rosberg for this race win. And now it's lap 27. You can see I'm closing the gap to Nico Rosberg, but these tyres are now starting to show signs of wear. It's going to be quite difficult, so we need to get this move done in the next few laps at least, and then defend for our lives if we want this race win. I believe we ran in, did we win in well, have we won so far in this season? I'm not too sure on F1 2015. I think we won in Bahrain, was it? I'm not too sure, but anyway, we're right behind the back of Rosberg now. You can see the amount of grip difference we have to him with these option tyres. Now we should be able to have him on this DRS straight. This will be for first place. Can we overtake him with the DRS? We've opened it up, it's wide open now. We're catching up to Rosberg. Now we're going to pull over to the inside line, hopefully outbrake him, just about make the corner, and we're now up to P1 with 5 laps to go. Come on lads, we might be able to actually get a race win from this. I wasn't expecting this whatsoever. Not having to put after pitting on lap 1 as we overtake the back marker of Hulkenberg, and we run a little bit wide because we didn't want to hit him. So, but the thing is, I have noticed with this game is that the AI struggle to overtake back markers, whereas the player doesn't actually. Well, you do struggle, but it's a lot easier for the player than it is for the AI to overtake back markers. So that may play into our favour as we come to the end of the race, lap 33. Rosberg is around about a second and a half behind us. He's closing the gap, but we're coming to the end of the race now, so it looks like we're going to get a win at the Spanish Grand Prix. There we have it. First place. There we go, beating the two Mercedes to the top spot of this Grand Prix. That Ferrari's doing extremely well so far. I believe we're only 1 point behind Sebastian Vettel now. So the championship fight is on for this 2015 season. So there we have it. We have finished in first place, 4 seconds in front of Rosberg. It looked a lot less. It looked a lot more than that. A lot less, sorry, actually. But there we have it. We're 1 point behind Sebastian Vettel. So the Drivers' Championship at the moment is Sebastian Vettel in first, with us in second. Nico Rosberg is in third. Look at Lewis Hamilton. He's all the way down in sixth. He's having a terrible season. But anyway, guys, that has been it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Do not forget to like, comment and subscribe if you've enjoyed this video. I know it's been a long one, but I hope you have enjoyed it. And tell me in the comments down below if you would like to see Pro Season Mode. But next up is going to be, oh yes, the king of racetracks. It's going to be Monaco. Monaco.